doing?
According to Islam, a one-day-old baby, regardless of which faith you're born, regardless of whether you're born to an atheist parent, you're born to a Muslim parent, you're born to a Christian, Hindu, Buddhist, doesn't matter what. The one-day-old baby, or even up to the point they reach the age of understanding, which normally is the age of puberty. Yes, they are not held accountable for anyone's sin, regardless of what their parents believe in. But
if that a child, a baby child, he's a Muslim, he's born of a Muslim family, is he going to go to hell or to heaven?
And the question just came in. Says, what happens to a baby that dies and where does it go? This is a beautiful teaching in Islam that all children, regardless of the religion of their parents, all children go to paradise.
So where he will go now? He's a child, he's a son of a Muslim man.
You're saying that he died as an infant?
Yes.
If he died as an infant, yeah, he's going to heaven.
So there is no way anyone will believe in such a thing, because that will be stupid, right?
If a newborn baby dies,
yeah,
where does it go? It goes to heaven.
Who told you
the
that?
newborn baby goes to heaven?
Is that according to Islam? Is that according to Islam or according to you?
That's common knowledge. That's common sense.
So you are saying to me the common sense. So anyone who speaks something else, he will be stupid.
Though it's common amongst Muslims, we all generally understand that if a baby dies, the baby is going to paradise, but this is not true. It's not true.
This is a speaker corner. His name is Hashim Abdul. He says arguing original sin, says no original sin in Islam and babies go to heaven. Okay, let us see if this is true, just to show you why Muslims, they love Islam, because they are stupid. They don't know what Islam is about. The second you say in Islam there is no heaven and there is no sin for babies and there is no original sin, that's mean you are stupid. Let me show you original sin from your prophet. Sahih Muslim, Sahih al-Bukhari, you name it. This is all is Sahih Hadith, as you see. Now, and I will show you that even how Muhammad, he believed that the real God of Islam is the devil. Muhammad, he said, not me, but for the Israeli, which means if there is no Jews, meat would not decay, but for Eve, wives would never betray their husbands. So your prophet saying clearly that the reason a woman, she betray her husband is she inherited that from Eve.
did Adam pass on his sin to his children or not? My point is this: why does the Christian belief or the doctrine of the original sin is unjust, according to what I see, that the children are inheriting the sin of their parents?
Why a woman today, she betray her husband? Because according to your prophet, Eve did that. If not Eve, women today, they will not do it. So you mustn't believe in the original sin. And that is showing us the ignorance and the stupidity of Islam. Muslims, they have big mouth, they keep repeating things they do not understand, when their books proving them wrong, proving that Islam is a stupid cult. And how you say to me you don't believe in original sin, but your prophet, he says this, and now you see this is Sahih. What you will say to me, this is not Sahih? Call me and say this is not Sahih, I will spank you, literally. So the blame of sin goes back to Eve. Is that original sin or this is something else? By the way, we don't believe in that. We believe that Adam and Eve, both they commit sin, not only Eve. But obviously Muhammad, he always blamed the women for all sin. This is why Muhammad, he says that women, and this is how he see his mother and his wives and his daughters, if they have any, that Muhammad, he claimed that women, they come and they advance in the shape of shaitan. He said, فَإِنَّ الْمَرْأَةِ تُقْبِلُ فِي صُورَةِ الشَّيْطَانِ وَتُدْبِرُ فِي صُورَةِ الشَّيْطَانِ. The women, she come in the image of shaitan and she retreat in the image of shaitan. So women in Islam is a pure shaitan. And this is why we see that Muhammad, he claimed that original sin goes back all the way to Eve, but not to Adam.
Are you telling me that Adam has no role to play in that?
Now, Muhammad, as an idiot, he don't hesitate to contradict himself. How a second ago you just said to us, if no Eve, no woman betray her husband, and then you say to us that there was a debate between Adam and Moses, and Moses accused Adam that because of you we were out of heaven, which means Moses believed in original sin. Read carefully with me. And by the way, the funny here that this debate happened after both they die, which means Musa's he died and yet he is not a Muslim as the Muslim claim, because as we heard, the Muslim they keep saying we Muslim don't believe in original sin. Now this is a prophet of God. The Muslim they claim that he is a Muslim, his name is Musa's. How Musa's he asked Adam such a question if you don't believe in the original sin? Read carefully with me and love. Adam and Musa's they argue together. Okay, what is the argument? Moses says to Adam, "Oh Adam, you are our father who disappointed us and turned us out of paradise." So obviously Moses he believed in the same belief of Christianity, original sin. Moses he spent his life as a prophet and looked like his God, and the Muslim they claim that the God of Moses is the same God of the Jews. But look here, Moses he died and yet his God Allah he never told him that you are wrong. How stupid is that? If a prophet of God himself do not know what if original sin is right or wrong, who is going to know? Are we listening, guys? Are we listening? Here Muhammad he proved to us that Moses cannot be a prophet and Moses cannot be a Muslim, because if he is a Muslim prophet, then he should be in total agreement with Muhammad belief, which Muhammad himself he contradicted himself, because we showed you where Muhammad he says if no Eve, no woman will betray her husband. So Muhammad in one hand he denied original sin, and one hand he approved it. In one hand he says Moses is a prophet of Allah, in one hand he says no, Moses he's an idiot, he do not know even what original sin is. And this is why we say Islam is a very stupid cult. And one of the signs of a stupid cult, it cannot stand its own words. This is why the Quran says if this book is not from Allah, you will find a lot of contradiction. Adam he said to Moses, do you blame me for action which Allah had written in my fate 40 years before my creation? And here again we see the stupidity of Muhammad. Why? We just showed you Muhammad claim that Eve she betrayed her husband, right? But here he says nobody betray anyone. It was written by Allah 40 years before the creation of Adam that Allah he made a plan for him as a fate that he will commit sin. Are we listening, guys? Do you see how stupid that is? How this man can be a prophet of God? You have to be certified donkey. You get your certification from a Christian prince with the stamp of his horse. Donkey. If Allah is the one who wrote the fate of Adam and his sin, and you cannot blame him for his sin, so why you are blaming Eve for betraying her husband if this was something written by Allah, by the fate of Allah for Adam and Eve anyway? This is why in China they say he lived as a donkey, he never came back as a horse. A Muslim he says that a child he will not go to hell, he go to heaven in Islam. Well, this is logical actually, that a child should go to heaven. I agree. This is what Jesus said, if we cannot be the same as those little ones, we will not enter the kingdom of God. But not in Islam, my friend. You're a prophet, he got himself busted and he got you busted again. You're a prophet that he claimed that it is all about fate, have nothing to do with sin. A child he died, and Aisha and Muhammad they went to the funeral of a child, and this is a Sahih hadith as you see. Chapter of meaning of every child is born in the state of fitrah. You know what? Is it Muhammad he said that every child is born as a Muslim? Okay, and the Muslims agree, no problem. So every child is born as a Muslim. That means this child is a Muslim for sure, because even a Christian child according to Muhammad, he is born as a Muslim and then his family make him a Christian or a Jew or a Hindu or etc. But look what happened here. This is a child from a Muslim family, which means he is born a Muslim by birth, as Muhammad claimed. Everybody is born as a Muslim, and his family are Muslims, but he is an infant, he's a little child.
When Aisha radiallahu anha had mentioned regarding one of the children of the Ansar who had died, that to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she mentioned, oh, he is among the children of paradise. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no.
What Muhammad here is saying, Allah created for paradise people who they are not yet are created, which means decision is already made. It's a fate. It's not about sin. Aisha, she think that this is a child, he will be bird of the birds of paradise because he never reached the age of sin. Read carefully. She said there is a happiness in for this child who is a bird from the birds of paradise, for it commit no sin, nor has reached the age when one can commit a sin. So this is very clear now. He never commits sin. He cannot even be a sinner. He is a very baby. He said, Aisha, peradventure, it may be the otherwise, which means it might be he go to hell, not to heaven. It might be the otherwise, the opposite. Because God created for paradise those who are fit for it while they were in their father backbone, not lions. This is a translation, by the way, is false. And he created for hell those who are to go to hell. He created them for hell while they were in their father backbone. So Muhammad claimed that the decision about you where to go, what you will be, is made before he created you. It doesn't matter you commit sin or not. As you see, the baby here never commits sin. So why is it possible he will go to hell? What is the reason of possibility that you will go to hell? Because Islam is not about you go to hell because you commit sin. It's about fate. Islam is a stupid religion, a stupid cult full of contradictions, and nothing there makes sense. Here we go. We have a child who never commits sin, and Aisha, she thinks that this child he will go to heaven because he never commits sin. But Islam, who care? Who said that you go to heaven because you commit sin or not? That really not the reason. As you see, actually Muhammad, he said in different hadith that if you don't commit sin, Allah will destroy you. Allah will destroy you and will bring someone he commits sin. Do you see the stupidity of Muhammad? This is Sahih Muslim 2749. Muhammad is speaking, not me.
So the Lord wants a caliph. This is what the Lord wants, and the Lord will get what the Lord wants. The Lord wants a caliph, so the Lord is trying to find the right victim. You see,
the right
so
victim, guys. Did you hear? Did you hear the right
So
victim? Allah trying to find the right victim.
He said, by him is whose hand is my life. Muhammad is swearing now, taking an oath. This is serious. This is not a joke. And you know, when Muhammad he swears, it means he is going to make a big poo-poo. If you were not to commit sin, Allah would sweep you out of existence, and he would replace you by those who would commit sin and seek forgiveness. Have you ever heard of a madness like this before? Isn't it this is a contradiction for the Quran? Muhammad in the Quran, he says that God, he's taking the story from the Old Testament about the flood of Noah. The flood of Noah is what? Is about people commit sin. So God destroy all of them. Muhammad here is saying the opposite. If you don't commit sin, God will bring the flood of Noah. Do you see it? So how you can follow such a man who is really a certified stupid in every statement he say? Islam is a collection of stupid stories. None of them make sense.
Now, Adam sin separated mankind from God. Jesus came to reconcile man to God. Once you accept Jesus Christ, you're reconciled to God.